Hey, what's up, everybody? Mark Ellert here. Time to keep it professional. Yeah, this punk rocker is actually coming at you talking about being professional. That's how I roll, baby. Now, but for real, this video, everybody, you might have seen my previous videos about how much advocating I do when I'm advocating for my medical needs, my transportation needs, advocating for my rights as an individual. The best way to go about that is to act professional. When you act professional, you get professional results. People treat you like a professional when you act like a professional. When you act like a child, people treat you like a child. When you act like an angry person, people just don't want to help you. You don't want to necessarily call people and just be crying and getting emotional and trying to make them feel guilty. They're not going to want to know how to talk to you. They're not going to want to know how to address it. They're just going to think you're falling apart and being emotional. They're not going to have any guilt for it. They're not going to want to do anything or want to be willing to help you. They're just going to get off the phone. Same thing if you come in angry. If you're yelling at people, throwing things around, and just being like just volatile and wanting answers, demanding things from people, no one's going to want to help you. When you're acting a fool, no one's going to want to help the fool. That's why it's good to act professional, everybody. It's why one thing I've learned is to use I statements. That's one thing that can actually take a lot of it away from the person taking your complaint. They're not going to take it personally. When you have something, you can use I statements. Don't walk in there saying, you did this, you said this, you did this. They're going to want to defend themselves because the you statements, it's so personalized. They're feeling like you're pointing right at them and saying, you. They think that you're making it their fault. So it's natural that people are going to want to get defensive and just be able to defend their character and say things just so they feel better about themselves and what they did. They're not going to want to help you. They're going to want to make themselves feel better about the emotional reaction they're having to someone accusing them of things. That's why it's good to use I statements rather than saying, you did this, you said this. It's good to say, I thought this was what was going to happen. I was expecting this. I was thinking this. This is what I found out in the end. When you're using I statements, you're talking about you. You're making it personal to you, what you thought and what you wanted. You're not making it personal to them. You're not saying it's their fault and they're wrong, and you're not pointing fingers at them and using you statements. You're pointing fingers at yourself using I statements. You're making it personalized about what you wanted and what you expected. And then that's why they can actually answer your questions by saying, well, this is what you're going to get. And this is that they're going to try to address it towards you and not try to address it towards themselves. They're not going to make it personal, defending themselves and feeling the need to. They're actually going to, because when you say you statements, that's deflecting it from the issue and they're thinking it's towards them. So that's what they're going at. When you make I statements and you actually make sure you're focusing on the goal and the results you want, that's what they will focus on. They will focus on actually making sure that it's the you statements that you're making about yourself and how it can affect you and help you. And also they're going to label the enterprise or the establishment why it's at fault and not them personally. That's why everyone is very good to use I statements and not you statements. It's very good to not, I know it's something that it's you're angry about, you're upset about, you have the right to be emotional about it, but try not to bring those emotions into the meeting because people don't want to help someone who's emotional. It's too much emotion and they're going to think there's no professionalism, there's no real answers or things going on here. They're like, this is just emotion. They're going to want to put up a wall and not going to want to help you when you're falling apart. So keep your composure, keep your emotions together, and don't be going in there throwing things and making a fool of yourself. Everybody, you don't want to be angry because no one's going to want to help the angry person. They're just going like, dude, sit down. People who are just angry and just blowing arteries and yelling at things, it's going to give yourself even more distress. And again, no one's going to want to help you or want to address your situations. Talk to someone like a professional. They'll treat you like a professional. They'll address your situations. When something's not right, don't actually fight fire with fire. When something's going wrong, you don't want to be building the fire, making it worse. You don't want to make them angry and make it so they're not going to want to help you. You want to throw some cool on the fire. You want to cool it down, get some water on there. Simmer yourself down so you can go in there with a good attitude and level-headed and know how to speak to them. You don't want to go in there angry and throwing fire on that fire because it's just going to build and make yourself more emotional. When you go in emotional and they don't help you, and they're not going to want to help you when you go in there being all emotional and just throwing fire around. It's good, people, to keep your cool, keep your composure, and not to mention keeping it sexy. Sex appeal goes a long way in the professional world, everybody. No, but for real, everybody, keep it professional. You get treated like a professional when you act it. That's what's up, everybody. And everybody, keep it sexy, making choices. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.